Hello everyone, and welcome to Misinformation Debunked. Now, I realise that title might sound about as exciting as watching paint dry on a brick, but trust me, this is important stuff. We live in an age where misinformation spreads faster than a TikTok trend in a high school, and frankly, it's exhausting. So today, we're going to dive deep into the murky waters of popular myths and emerge, hopefully, with a clearer understanding of reality. Let's, as they say, clear up some of these common myths with, dare I say, detailed explanations. You know, the kind that would make a parliamentary debate seem like a quick chat about the weather. Our first target? The ever-so-persistent belief that the Earth is flat. Yes, apparently, some people still cling to the idea that our planet is a pancake, blissfully unaware of the fact that they're not constantly teetering on the edge of existence. Now, the idea of a spherical Earth has been around for centuries, with ancient Greek philosophers like Pythagoras and Aristotle making some pretty compelling arguments in its favor. But look, you don't have to take their word for it. We have actual, tangible evidence in the form of satellite images. You know, those shiny things we shoot into space to take pictures for us? They show, quite conclusively, that the Earth is, in fact, a sphere. Well, technically, an oblate spheroid, because it's slightly wider at the equator due to the centrifugal force created by its rotation. But hey, who's splitting hairs, right? The point is, it's not flat. It's round, like a ball, like that basketball you swore you could dunk in high school but never quite managed to. And yet, the flat earthers persist, armed with their conspiracy theories and their homemade experiments that somehow always seem to prove their point. It's enough to make you want to tear your hair out and scream into the void. But, instead of succumbing to despair, let's approach this with a modicum of humour, shall we? I mean, the mental gymnastics required to believe in a flat Earth are truly impressive. They'll tell you that gravity is a hoax, that NASA is a giant cover-up operation, and that all those pictures of Earth from space are just CGI. It's like they live in a completely different reality, one where logic and reason have been replaced by suspicion and distrust. And you know what? It's kind of sad, really. Because, at the end of the day, the evidence is overwhelming. The Earth is not flat. It's a beautiful spherical planet hurtling through space at an alarming rate. So, the next time you encounter someone who insists on believing in a flat Earth, just smile, nod politely, and then slowly back away. You can't reason with someone who's convinced that they're standing on a cosmic friscope. Now, let's move on to another doozy of a myth. The persistent belief that vaccines cause autism. This one is particularly harmful because it discourages people from getting vaccinated, which can have serious consequences for public health. Where did this harmful myth originate? Well, it all started with a deeply flawed and, frankly, unethical study published in 1998 by a man named Andrew Wakefield. In this study, which has since been thoroughly discredited and retracted by the medical journal that published it, Wakefield suggested a link between the MMR vaccine and autism. Now, this study was riddled with problems, from its small sample size to its questionable methodology. It's the scientific equivalent of building a house of cards on a windy day. It's just not going to stand up to scrutiny. Despite this, Wakefield's study sparked widespread fear and panic, leading to a sharp decline in vaccination rates. And, predictably, this decline in vaccination rates led to a resurgence in preventable diseases like measles, mumps, and rubella. Now, In the years since Wakefield's fraudulent study, numerous large-scale studies have been conducted, and they have all reached the same conclusion. There is no link between vaccines and autism. None. Zip. Zero. The scientific consensus on this issue is about as solid as the concrete foundation of a skyscraper. It's not going anywhere. Vaccines are one of the greatest public health achievements in human history. They have saved millions of lives and continue to do so every year. Spreading misinformation about vaccines is not just irresponsible, it's downright dangerous. It's like telling someone it's perfectly safe to cross the street while blindfolded and wearing noise-cancelling headphones. It's just asking for trouble. So, let's be clear. Vaccines are safe, they are effective, and they are essential for protecting ourselves and our communities from preventable diseases. If you're still clinging to the belief that vaccines cause autism, I urge you to do your own research. But don't just rely on what you read on Facebook or YouTube. Go to reputable sources like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or the World Health Organization. Look, the internet is a wonderful tool for learning and connecting with others, but it's also a breeding ground for misinformation. It's like a giant flea market where you can find anything from vintage clothing to antique furniture to, oh yeah, completely fabricated stories about lizard people running the government. So it's up to us to be discerning consumers of information. We need to be critical thinkers, to question what we read and see, and to be wary of anything that seems too good to be true. Because, let's face it, it probably is. Stay curious, stay informed, and for goodness sake, get vaccinated.